All right, what's up, guys? No excuses. Let's get the video going. We're gonna go get a cigar. I tried to go to the gym today, but I was gonna do a 5-day fast and I made it 18 hours. But I only ate one meal. So I'm on like a OMAD right now, like a 1 meal a day. Recommendation of my friend. I studied, oh shit, let me check something. Okay, we're good. I studied the rule of thirds. So that means I was curious about composition, like how I said in my last video. Essentially, there are little things that you may face when you're trying to do something you want to do, whether that's writing a book, spreading a message on TikTok. You're gonna face little things. And I personally believe, and I'll get better at my message over time, but I believe that there's little things that stop us from doing the things that we want to do. And I think some of the ways that I think and the way that I am would prove to be pretty useful for some people. I'm just good at feeling through what it is stopping me from my outcome. You know, I often tell people that I don't have a problem with a vision. I don't have a problem with manifestation or any of that stuff. I don't have a problem with that stuff. There's things that stop me and I need to figure them out. And one of the things was being on this camera. So today I'll ask editor Paul to show you guys some stuff. But I was like, how can I get past this block? Basically, when I'm in front of the camera, I'm kind of like, am I doing this right? Like, what's going on? It's a weird thought, because even if there are rules are meant to be broken. And I learned that today as well. Somebody said that as I was learning something on YouTube. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. But knowing the rules helps you break them. And so the rule of thirds started to come into question. What's fascinating about the rule of thirds is it goes back hundreds, maybe even thousands of years. Which is kind of the idea around drawing attention, basically, telling a story with images, which is that I love that. So once I started to realize that, I started to kind of like it even more. And so I was thinking, how can I study this? And one time I had an idea that I was going to make an actual iPhone case, an iPhone cover, a screen protector that had etched into it the rule of thirds, both vertical and horizontal. That way, when I'm passively watching YouTube videos on my phone, I can see the composition as I enjoy it. Or maybe there's some app where I could turn on the rule of thirds that just displays over the whole phone. And I wouldn't care if it was on top of the whole phone. It would look like maybe a couple like weird scratches on your phone. Like, but I wouldn't mind, because I want to learn about composition. And I thought that could be a cool product, actually. The rule of thirds iPhone screen protector. I did ChatGPT and look into it, but it's quite the deal, because the screen protectors, they take the plastic and they like punch the screen protector out of the plastic. And so this would be an additional step where each screen protector on every single device would need a perfect rule of thirds kind of etched into it, very so subtly, just enough to where if you see it, you see it. And I want it both vertical, so at the top there's a rule of thirds where a YouTube might go. That probably wouldn't be a good idea. Maybe just full screen would be enough for me. So that was the first idea I had. And then today I was like, how can I train my mind? So what I did was I took a square, and I'll show some footage, and I split the square 3 times and then 3 more times to get 9 squares. And then we're gonna go get a cigar right now, by the way. I really want a cigar. I didn't smoke a cigar for like a couple weeks, but tonight's the night. And so I made the rule of thirds, and then that act in itself taught me something. I was like, huh, that's interesting. Pretty simple concept. And so then I started to study some Sam Sulek videos. I just took wild screenshots. You could see all the YouTube, they're very YouTube. And then I started to look at the way that he composes himself in the gym. Like, how does he set the camera? And even now, this is okay. Like, you can see how, for example, you can see a lot of my hand. I'm in what's called like, well, all of these are named, by the way, every single square. So I'll put the squares, I'll put the filter over you right now so you can see it. This is what the rule of thirds looks like. And all of them have names, believe it or not. Like there's center and middle, left, or whatever. And there's even a way to describe it, like left third, right third, middle third. So the whole thing has thirds. Like you could, it's just difficult to describe, but you see what I'm saying. And so like, right now this is okay because I'm looking at it and I actually turned the grid on my Sony camera on. So I went into the settings and I found the grid. So now I have the rule of thirds on my little preview. This is okay. I could see myself doing a little bit better. My eye is just above the eye line because you kind of want your eye in the sweet spot. So let me kind of roll in here. Careful because I'm driving. Lift it up a little bit. That's pretty close. Now also, we're seeing some unwanted back area, so I'll give the tripod a small twist. You don't need all that stuff. So now you can see a little bit of the drive. So according to some of the things I watched, it's not a bad idea to try to get your eyes right in that fucking corner. So there we go. That's sort of more of like what's suggested. Now we're moving on, we're moving on. This is what I'm about, I just want to keep going and keep moving. And then I studied, who else did I study? Mark Manson, which by the way, when I was studying Mark Manson, I'm so glad I studied him because he came out and said that he had something called the director of photography. When I picked a video and he was like, yeah, this is my director of photography. And I was like, director of photography? Damn.
Just know that somebody's suffering with you in the trenches. So fortunately for me, my director of photography runs Ultra.
And I started to realize, like, if you could afford it, you should buy it. Like my friend, who's an investor, he's an angel investor. He's somebody who has some above average, more than most people. He has a little bit more resources. So I was thinking about him. I was like, he should probably just do that. Like, just hire a fucking little startup around you because he wants to make content. Hire a director of photography, hire an editor, because all this stuff is crazy. And then I started to realize, wow, I'm becoming my own director of photography. This is pretty cool. And then I started to study Mark Manson, and he does really centered shots, probably in 4K, because he punches in pretty dramatically to give himself a little bit of room on the left third so he can display words and stuff like that. And he also has his desk, and it so subtly covers the bottom of the frame. It's like right on the bottom of the lower third. I was like, I'm gonna try that. And then I decided to study Candace, that one friend of Charlie Kirk, stunning woman. She looks great in her shots. She looks fantastic. She's so well lit, and her skin is just gorgeous. And her background has depth, and everyone has these nice backgrounds. Like, I don't have enough apartment to create those kind of deep backgrounds. I would need to scoot my desk forward like 6 feet, decorate the back, and that would mean I would have no room for anything. My desk would be against basically the halfway across the room, and then behind me there'd be decorations it's crazy. But Candace has a really nice setup as well. Very nice colors, very nice. And everyone's doing something different with their laptops. Like, some people are putting their laptops in front of them. Like, Candace puts her laptop directly in front of her. Mark Manson puts his over to the right. Fuck, Mark Manson has all these lights on top too, and like rolling. They're like accordion. It's crazy. That's crazy. He has a dedicated top-down camera. And I noticed on his wall he had like monthly whiteboards. I thought those looked pretty good too. A monthly whiteboard? That's cool. I started to study a little bit of Maria Wendt. She's a chill, you know, tip provider. She gives tips, content creation tips. Hers are dead simple. She leaves a little bit of room on her left-hand side so she can put some of her doodles. And then I recently got done studying Trout and Coffee. Sorry, Trout and, wait. What's that guy's name? Trout and Coffee? I forget his name. That guy's good though. That guy's a magical creator. He's one of the best. Very cinematic. Everything he makes looks like a homemade movie, like cinema. He does a lot of close-up shots, a lot of hand shots. He does some good car shots where he has the car coming around the bend in like the lower right third. That was really cool. And yeah, it made me wonder, like, I've taken a lot of photos. I want to actually look at photos I've taken in the past and see how they kind of compare to the new learnings I've learned. And yeah, so tons of learning, man. I was so excited about that. I'm looking at this parking lot real quick. This place kind of sketches me out. I mean, at least like the general areas full of crime for sure. So I gotta be careful. Anyways, we'll be quick. I'm gonna go in here and get a cigar, break down my gear, and then we'll finish up the other half of what I'm trying to say. Just made like 2 super rookie mistakes right now. Annoying. On my GoPro on the hood, I pressed a button that makes it blink blue. I hate it when I press that button, dude. It starts going crazy. Blink, blink, blue, blue, blue. Just trying to like, I don't know, like pair with like an app. I did the same thing on my other microphone. I hate these products sometimes, dude. And so now it's like constantly blinking blue. It's like, dude, and it's actually annoying to figure out how to do it. Like, I've studied these things by like drawing them out and stuff. This is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like an extremist. Some people think that I'm meticulous or like crazy, but I look at them like, all right, genius, you show me how it's fucking done, then, dude. You're the person who just does everything so gracefully. But somebody who does something gracefully is gotta be Mark Manson. But I found out he's got a team. And I mean, I always knew he had a team, but damn, I didn't know he had a director of photography. That's money right there. It's crazy. Anyways, it's also kind of cool. Because you think about it, if you become a content creator, you become your own director of photography. And I think that you should, you know? I think that you should. Even if you had the money to buy all the people to do it, I think that you should do it. At least enough, you know? There's a scene from a movie that I really like called The River Runs Through It. I watched it recently because of the death of that guy, what's his name, Robert Redford or whatever. And in one of the scenes of A River Runs Through It, the dad is super cool. The character dad is cool. He's trying to teach the kids, you know, very old school, traditional American life stuff. At least a fictional version of that, right? And he's teaching them how to fly fish because, and the movie's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. It's totally full of grief and heartbreak and great storytelling. a lot of values, but it's definitely a really nice watch. I'm taking you guys to the spot right now. And in the movie, can you hear me good? Yeah. Hello. Fucking gear, man. In the movie, he teaches them to fish on a metronome. And then there's a quick moment where the son says, if he had it his way, nobody who didn't know how to catch a fish would ever... Okay. If he had it his way, nobody who didn't know how to catch a fish would ever get to catch a fish, so that they wouldn't disgrace the fish. It's a little tongue twisty for me just trying to remember it off the cuff. But it's such a great lesson. It's so well written, because that's like, there's some truth to that. Like, you might be one of those girls who does a little face dance on TikTok, like, hey, what's up? My eyes are rolling. My eyes are doing some cross-eyed shit, you know, some kissy lip stuff. And you might blow up. And you will be able to say that you're an artist. You will. And by the definition of art, it's true. And you might make a lot of money. And that's admirable. And that's cool. And people want to meet you. You could travel the world. And I think deep down, it's just my opinion, I think some of the, and they might not, some of these lucky people, guys and girls on TikTok and content creators, I think they kind of know, like, oh shit, dude, like, fuck, man. Like, oh dang, you know? I think I'm dang, you know? Because you're not going to say no to the fame and money. And so you're like, oh, fuck, you know? It's probably really weird for the parents. They're like, hi, honey. And they're like, hi, mom. Suddenly they have an air of authority because money changes the dynamics of life. But he, you know, who doesn't know how to make $1 million, if he had it his way, nobody would ever have $1 million as to disgrace the $1 million. In the words of that father from that movie. And I think I'm down with that, you know. I think we all welcome a lucky leap of faith. I think we all can say to God's in the, you know, to God and the universe, I accept abundance in my life, you know. And I open the idea of winning lotteries and making a piece of content that reaches hundreds of thousands, millions, you know. I make a book that goes a #1 bestseller. But then again, you know, when we watch Bloodsport, he's like throwing them on the ground over and over and over. And even in that movie, the same movie, the river runs through it. The scene following the fly fishing scene, the boy is homeschooled by his father. And it's such a beautiful scene, especially for writers, because he says, while everyone was at school, I was homeschooled to learn literature and English and the English word. And what did his dad tell him? His dad said, make it half as long. And he's like, damn. And he goes back and writes it, and they have that beautiful shot of him at the desk with the Bible on the desk, and he's got his little tie on and shit. He's such a cute little boy. And then he brings back another version to his dad, and his dad has this cool red coloring pencil, you know? Super red, and it's his dad's study, you know? Cross that shit out. And he goes, shorter. And he goes back and makes whatever he's writing shorter. I should pause it to read what he's saying, what he's writing. And guess what? When he brings it back to his dad, you know what his dad says? Good. Throw it away. Fucking awesome, dude. More lessons in that, 1 minute of film than there is in the whole fucking, 10 hours of scrolling Instagram. Make it shorter. Tell the story. And even this video doesn't live up to his father's credit. His father's wishes. I'm rambling. I'm driving. I'm trying. I got a hood. I got a GoPro Hero 3 on the hood. I gave you guys a little POV. We're set up. I got the thirds. I learned the thirds. I know the rule of thirds. I know the rule. And I'll break the rule. I put on a tie for you guys. I'm trying. I like this outfit though. It's my windbreaker tie. I always notice guys in ties. And I like it. I like the character from True Detective, Matthew McConaughey. I like the character from American History X. When he gets better, he's wearing a tie. And he's wearing a nice Hemingway light jacket with a gold zipper. I like that. Nice look. I like Jose Gonzalez in his music video with the khaki, what is it called? It's called not a Hemingway, but like a Hermington. Anyways, he's in the khaki jacket with the tie. Great look for Jose Gonzalez. I love that. I love Falling Down. I love that look. That looks fucking classic. What else? I like me some Matrix shots. I like, who else? Who else does it well? But you gotta be careful when you wear a tie and a short sleeve shirt. You kind of look like a Mormon. The Mormons are messing it up for the short sleeve tie look. I was thinking about having a talk with them about that. Like, hey, buddy. Can't be wearing no tie and short sleeves, okay? People think I'm trying to sell them a religion. I'm just trying to look nice in a hot day. Anyways, I digress. So, I didn't finish in the time allotted. I wanted to go to the gym tonight, but instead I feel like smoking a cigar, which is kind of like going to the gym. Makes your heart go fast. That's gym like behavior for the body. What else? I did not get done studying Study With Me's. And I also want to study some composition of creative shots. Like, I noticed a shot when I was watching the documentary of Die Antwood or whatever. And there's one shot where they're sitting at a table and then they cut to camera B and it's kind of so ever slightly tilted. Because the director of photography is trying to give them a look that's a little bit above average, off kilter. It's intentionally shot to feel jarring. And I like that B camera. So I do want to study a little bit of creative composition, but I'm going to look towards the old school stuff. I'll probably study 1969 music video with the Smashing Pumpkins. I want to check that out. I'll probably study Third Eye Blind, Semi-Charmed Life music video. I'll probably study some more Smashing Pumpkins videos. They have some really good, the Smashing Pumpkins have some of the best music videos in the world. I'll probably study a little bit of like Outkast, maybe Miss Jackson. That was a really good music video. I'll probably study some short films. One short film that comes to mind is Skin. That was a really good short film. Very heartbreaking. Very, totally recommended. I'll put the link in the description. Fucking insane. I don't think there's speaking in the whole. Actually, there is some speaking towards the end. Just a subtle name calling. Look at this guy. He's a real runner. I don't know if you can see him. I don't know why he would walk in the street like that. I don't know. Free will. Enjoy. So I want to study some creative stuff. And I forgot, there was one more area that I opened up. I was like, I'm going to study this too. I don't need to get into it right now. It's too much. You guys want to go smoke with me? You guys still want to hang out? It's going to be a longer video. I can say goodbye. We can turn this into a fucking vlog right now. You guys want to go? All right, let's figure it out. Let me, I don't trust this place. Let me pack it up. Well, I'll take you down there in the backpack. We'll go. Hello, hello. This should be some interesting practice because I really can't see that well. Okay, hold on. Let me think about what I know. I have 16 to 35. I can get some really nice wide shots. There's a lot of water. That's a ferry in the distance. It's very nice. Let me see what I can see on film here. I gotta look down the viewfinder. 1 second, guys. I can't see. It's hard. Okay, hold on. Let me put one of the rule of thirds on the horizon. Actually, no, wait. I want to put me in the shot. I'm the subject. So if I put this back like this and get a little bit right here, this is your left third. This is the left third. This is center. This is right third. It's hard to see right third. This is not bad. I got some leading lines and stuff. I think it should be punched in some. That's why you have a variable lens. It costs more money because it has different focal lenses. I think this is a little bit bright. I wish it was more like concealed. But I'm afraid that this is a windbreaker, so it'll be loud. Also, I did not bring a wind rabbit ear because they didn't design the packaging that well, to be honest. The packaging is separate, so there's like a small case where you can carry your stuff, but the other case has the wind. It's like, bro, just give me a day, I'll fix that. So here we are. I forget what this is called. This place is like nice place. A little bit sketchy. That's my favorite brand. Truth is, I tried to smoke a cigar last night, but it's so awful. Let me check my volume. It's been jumping on me lately. Yeah. I found something out about this camera. I got the volume set to 20, set to 10 on the camera. And sometimes, next thing you know, I turn around and it's at 26. It goes from 10, where I want it to be, to 26, just because it does that sometimes. And I talked to ChatGPT and it said there's no way to change it. And I was like, oh my God. It is so harsh when your volume's really loud like that. Guys, it's the worst. So we're here at the spot. Some bonus video for you guys. This is where we swim sometimes. I'll take a picture from up there. I'll show you guys right now. I'll like use the high exposure on my iPhone. This is what the place looks like. It's basically a staircase into the water. That's it. It's not for boats. It's just a place to chill. And sometimes couples come here and take their best photos. They'll bring photographers and they'll use these staircases for leading lines, and I'll like get out of the way or whatever. So I've seen it happen like twice. And the tide is actually pretty low right now for night. Sometimes it's scary how high the tide is. I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I watch the ships go by all the time, guys. And sometimes I'll see like this big ship, and on the side of it, it says, what does it say, dude? It says, dude, it says a Chinese name. I forget, but I always think about that guy. It says like a Chinese name. And I'm like, that guy's the fucking man. Because it's like a huge shipping vessel on it. And it's like a guy just put his name on the side of it, you know? Like, imagine a huge ship that said Paul, you know? Or like Mike. You're just like, what? You're like, that's my ship. And you're like, it's so big. You're like, that guy's the freaking man. And then like literally like 40 minutes later, you start getting huge waves. It takes that long for the water, for you to feel the waves come. And I told a couple once, they were sitting down here in the rocks, and I was like, hey, if you see a big ship go by, like 40 minutes later, you're gonna be in some deep waters. And they're like, okay, that's cool. And I was like, all right. So hopefully nothing happened. But I don't think they really thought I was telling the truth. But I'm telling the truth. I'm a man of the world. I've sat and watched the water long enough to see a fucking wave come 40 minutes later from a boat. That's a lot of staring. But the water is easy to stare at. You can't see it, but there's a wooden thing out there. And sometimes this really crazy bird sits on it. And it's like, it knows he or she's the boss. So the reason I'm nervous is because I have the low ground right now. I'll show you. I'll just show you. So there's the high ground. It's actually quite level still. And all it takes is for somebody to walk by, and they'll see. Like, they just drove by right now, and they had like some kind of celebrational gangster music and shit. And there's muggings down the street because I'm right near Alki Beach. And there are muggings at Alki Beach. There's also robberies too. There was recently a robbery at the new Alki coffee shop months after it opened. They have footage of it.
In the winter months, it's like this quiet little beach town, and in the summer, it seems like things just start to happen.
A wave of concerns is once again hitting the shores of Alki Beach.
Definitely a safety issue that I think is well known throughout the community at night.
On Tuesday night around 10:45, police responded to an armed robbery near 61st and Alki. The suspects made off with a wallet and a cell phone before driving away. Within hours, police responded to a burglary at Alki Coffee Company Wednesday morning, after suspects returned using keys they had previously stolen from the building's lockbox. Security footage shows the suspects entering through the back door, triggering the alarm and stealing both a safe and a cash drawer before fleeing the scene. The co-owner says the loss is estimated about $2,000, a significant blow for a business that's only been open for 3 months.
This is not the environment we want them to open up.
They walked in there and took the safe. I always get kind of sad when somebody robs a store. In fact, I thought of a design, a better design. I have a better idea for the world. It's a little expensive, but I believe that every store should be designed in mind with theft. And that, like, by day it looks like a friendly shop, and by night it looks like a fucking tank. Defensive design, very thick glass, nowhere to sit on the windows, but nice window displays. They do sell glass that people are upgrading to, so people can't break it no matter how hard they hit. But I'm thinking of something different. I'm talking about no more of these doors that could be broken in. We're talking vault doors. So basically like a super defensive design for shopping malls and stuff. People who own sneaker stores, skateboard shops, they're highly targeted. The coffee shops, man. Especially in America, man. We can't do that to our coffee shops, you know? We need those to think, to sit, and to relax. God bless the coffee shops. I also had an idea for a coffee shop too. I call it Coffee and Bathrooms. That's it. And it's like really nice bathrooms. It's like penthouse bathrooms. Like Las Vegas penthouse bathrooms. And coffee. At least 3. And you can't use them unless you're a customer. They're not for jerk-offs. And you have to have purchase something to use them. And they are immaculate, marble, like incredible. Like you walk in, you're like, oh my God. It's like, dude, coffee and bathrooms, it's fucking sick. Because who doesn't like a really nice bathroom and a nice cup of coffee, you know? Coffee and bathrooms, man. That's it. That's all you have to name it too. The branding is done. People would just say like, oh, where are you going? I'm going to Coffee and Bathrooms. It's like, oh, I want to go. Fucking love that place. And so right now I feel like I got composition out of the way. I still got to practice. I still got to earn my keep. I can't just say I know composition. So I got to go around and take some photos. Right now, this is actually me practicing my new composition learnings, and that's enough, you know. The world's got us all tricked. It got us to think that you don't have it figured out, that you need like 10,000 hours or something like that, right? Why? Why? So this framing stuff, this composition stuff, this isn't the end. One of the reasons why I'm going to be preaching to my audience is why you need to learn and just keep moving, is because there's so much to learn. It's quite ridiculous to try to think about composing forever. You could probably study aperture, ISO, and white balance and shutter speed forever. You know what I'm saying? And if that's what you want to do, then do it. And so, yeah, I want to do that. And I want to learn how to tell stories faster, like in that one movie, The River Runs Through It, like how that father said. I want to tell shorter stories. I want to be more punchy. But I almost didn't follow through with today, even though I was pumped on it yesterday. I thought this morning, oh, man, I'm such an idiot. That's so stupid. And then I was like, come on, man. And once I started to realize that the art of composition goes back hundreds and thousands of years, and it's basically about storytelling, I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you guys. Cool. Later.